Hi, I'm Lisa Harrison. I'm here for Real People of the Sunshine Coast. I've got Jen Swain with me behind the camera, and we are so excited that we've got Matt Golinski with us today. We were planning to climb Mount Karura because that's a very special place for Matt.
You chickened out.
Well, I did, and the weather closed in, so we ended up... and Jen wasn't very happy about it actually either. She's just so we've decided to opt for coffee. Well, actually peppermint tea instead. So Matt, thank you for joining us, and we're going to chat to Matt today about what he's up to.
I'm a local. We're up in Palmwoods.
Yep.
I went to Palmwoods Primary and Nambour High School.
Yep.
I grew up on a farm, which was kind of, in the scheme of farms, it was probably like a small farm.
A hobby farm?
It wasn't a hobby farm. It was 33 acres.
Oh wow. Yep.
And all our stuff used to go off to the Rockley markets and pawpaws, bananas, avos, all that sort of thing. And I think it's probably being surrounded by all that good produce as a kid taught me a lot about food and sort of inspired my
Taste buds?
my choice to become a chef. I knew from a really early age that's what I wanted to do with my life, and so by the time I sort of hit high school, I knew that's what I wanted to do.
Yep.
And chose all my subjects in school to have anything to do with cooking. I did French and I did art and I did biology, and if it had anything to do with cooking, I was doing it, sort of thing. So I knew right from the go that left the Sunshine Coast after I finished school and got an apprenticeship in Brisbane. I was a vegetarian at the time. I was a little hippie kid with dreadlocks and little feral boy. And so I hand wrote a little application to the only vegetarian place in Brisbane, and said, please, can I have an apprenticeship? This was going back to 89, 90, 1990, 91.
Yep.
And it was, that was all like gluten-free, dairy-free, vegan, macrobiotic, doing all this different stuff that, gluten-free didn't exist then, really, That was cool. That was a really good start, and I worked with some really nice people that, I worked with a Fijian Indian girl who taught me right from the start how to blend spices and things like that. So I was really lucky in that respect. I found that I was, having to start with my career as a chef with just like vegetable, plant-based stuff. It gave me a real understanding of and appreciation of that's the important part. Like anyone can cook a steak or a piece of fish or whatever, but learning to what goes with that and how to blend those things with the fruit and vegetables that you've got available to you is an important thing. So did a lot of travelling, went around Australia, went around the world, did all that stuff. When I was as soon as I finished my apprenticeship, I packed up my old Bedford van and fishing rods and books, and just went around Australia for a year just fishing and reading books and doing bush
On your
walks.
own?
No, with my wife Rachel. So, so that was really good.
Yeah. So I just want to touch on that point. You were saying that you moved to Brisbane because there was a restaurant there that was more innovative, and I know that that's a challenge for a lot of parents, seeing their kids having to move away to forge their careers. Do you see that changing on the Sunshine Coast, particularly in hospitality?
It definitely has. I mean, really, the fact is that you're always going to be cooking more cutting-edge food in the cities because there's more population who are going to be more open to it and more appreciative of it. There is a big difference between the clientele in a smaller town than in a big town.
Yeah.
It's just pure fact, If I was cooking in Brisbane, I could be cooking quite a lot different food to what I'm cooking here in Noosa. It is different, but at the same time, the regional areas have come a long way, particularly Sunshine Coast. You look at somewhere like Noosa, where there's 100 restaurants, probably 200 restaurants, and a lot of them really good and got a lot to offer. So there's still plenty to learn here, but I would probably give you the advice to any, and I did the other day, to a young chef that works with me, is that I'd love to teach you as much as I possibly can here, but at the same time, if you really want your career to expand, you need to not only think about going somewhere like Sydney or Melbourne or Brisbane, but go to Copenhagen or go to Spain or
international.
You know,
but you did move back to the Sunshine Coast, didn't you?
Yeah,
eventually.
Yeah, I was always going to move back here. It was always home, you know. And I did. I spent a lot of time living in Brisbane for many years, and then when I was going to be having kids, it just seemed like the natural thing to come home. And there was places like Noosa that I could go and be a chef and cook. And so there was, that was it was a really good move.
Yeah.
I'm glad I came home.
Touch on Ready Steady Cook, because I was a bit of a fan.
Oh, nice one, yeah. I was too. I thought it was a great show.
Yeah, I was telling Jen in the car on the way up here about it, and the concept is like, you think it's just such a crazy concept, but it worked, didn't it?
It totally did, yeah. No, I think they always knew it was going to, because it had such a good run in England, where it was primetime TV, you know, and it was huge over there. And so when they bought the rights to make it over here, they sort of already knew they were onto a good thing. It's a pity it kind of always stayed at that 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon slot, but it meant that we got all the young mums with kids who were trying to stay sane. So did you have kids at the time? Yeah, totally. And that's what it's the amount of people that I meet now who go, oh yeah, you got me through like my 3-year-olds,
Tantrums.
Those days it was 2001, 2002 or something like that. There was kind of no such thing as a celebrity chef, and none of us guys were really looking to be a celebrity chef, because no one knew what it was really. There was like Peter Russell Clark, there was Huey's Cooking Adventures, or
that's
there
right.
There was kind of no other, there was not, that really didn't exist yet. So, but it was great fun, and that's where we all got to know, all us guys got to know each other, Manu and Al and Gary and George and Janelle and Damien and all those guys.
And so do you think that impacted your career? And how?
To a degree. I mean, it helped me in the fact that, I guess, when you're a chef and you cook for a living, and you're the head chef, and you're constantly having to come up with new ideas, new dishes, and be at the cutting edge, you doubt yourself constantly. And with that show, you weren't able to doubt yourself. You just had to think really quick, go, okay, I'm going to make these 4 dishes, and sometimes they were terrible. Sometimes they didn't work at all, but you didn't have a chance to think, and that kind of made you then, in real life, when you're back at your job, actually kind of not just back yourself more, so not doubt yourself so much. From that point of view, I really enjoyed that. The whole celebrity chef thing, I hate the term celebrity chef. It just drives me insane. But I guess there's that part of it as well, where people know who you are, then you're on telly and all that sort of stuff. But it's something that's really, I haven't, since Ready Steady Cook, it's not something that I've kind of gone out there to try and, I need another show now or anything like that. I enjoyed that time, and that show really suited me. I'm not somebody who, if somebody came along and went, we've got this idea for a TV show, here's what it is, and it suited me, then, and you're the person we want for it, then sure, I'd grab it. But I'm not my kitchen rules master chefy type person at all. That's completely different to what Ready Steady Cook was. It was fast, and it was furious and funny and light-hearted, and and that's what I loved about it. It wasn't all drama and I hate him and she's your bitch or whatever. It was all just exactly what you saw is what you got.
How can we help more restaurants take on that ethos and use the local produce?
I think it's probably mostly just about education. The biggest things that I hear from chefs and restaurants is, it's too expensive, or it's too hard to get, or it's inconsistent, or whatever. But the fact is, it's really not these days. And I say to people, it's not. We've proven that. What I've done at Peppers, I've been brought in there to bring all that local produce onto the menu, and we've gone from having probably 8 or 10 suppliers there to having probably 60 now, and they all drop the stuff straight to our back door, and all we've got to do is be smart enough to know when to order, and how to communicate with them. We get 2 deliveries of strawberries a week, we get 2 deliveries of tomatoes a week, we get macadamia straight from the farm, pecans straight from the farm, and it's just so easy. It's not more expensive. We get a better product, and we get a story to tell, and that's the big, that's what people want these days. They want to know where their food comes from, and so I think that's, probably the message to restaurants and chefs is like, if you want to know how to find it. If you want to find out where to get local macadamias from, just Google it. You know.
We know you as a chef, but you've also a musician and...
That's a very loose term, I would say.
So what kind of music do you play?
Oh, look, I grew up, when I was in high school, I was in a band and I was the singer in the band.
Yep.
I also, I play some instruments, but I'm sort of jack of all trades but master of none, unfortunately. I don't have the attention span to get really good at any particular one thing, but look, and then in those days we were kind of, we were all obsessed with Jimi Hendrix and, all that sort of 60s hard rock and The Who and Rolling Stones and that sort of thing, and we'd buy, a $50 guitar from the pawn shop and smash it on stage like our heroes, and there'd be bits of guitar flying everywhere and these kids all looking at us going, what are you doing to that guitar? So there was, we were right into that whole rock and roll thing, and I haven't really done a lot with music since then. I still play with my mates, but I still love dabbling in it. I've got a music room with 2 drum kits and a bass guitar and everything from a keyboard and a piano accordion and I don't know how to play any of them, but I get on them and have a dabble, and that's the fun part of it. It's just fun for me. It's a bit of therapy, I suppose.
Along with running, I hear, and you've got a big goal coming up.
Yeah, look, it's one of those ones where I love running. I love getting out. It's kind of like my escape, I suppose, and it's something that I've always done. But yeah, this year's I've done. Since I came out of hospital, I've done, started with a 5K run and then a 10 and then the half and then the full marathon and things like running from Cape to Cape in Western Australia and doing the Kokoda Challenge on the Gold Coast last year. And then, so I always like to have a goal up my sleeve to keep me focused and keep me doing something. I've got to, there's no point running and not having anything to run for. So I decided to just bite the bullet and get online and actually register for Sunshine Coast Marathon and do the half marathon down there in August. So it's nice to always have that goal set and then actually pay for it. So you've got to go and do it and then tell everybody
the commitment,
that they can. That's right, exactly. That way, they can. Then everybody just wants you to fail, so you can't let it happen.
Oh, thank you so much, Matt, for your time, and we know you're really, really busy. And good luck with all your regional travels.
Thank you. Yeah, cheers.